What's up, everybody? Just waiting on everybody to join. This is Barber to the Stars here, and today we're gonna be having like shop talk. We're gonna be talking to Wade Smith of the Houston Texans. Let me see if we can join him right now. We're going for Smitty 74 all day, ex Houston Texan radio host. What's up, Smitty 74 all day?
What's good, Nick? How you been, bro?
Man, look at that beard. Oh my God.
Yeah, dog. Hey, it's quarantine
Look,
life, baby. We do it big.
quarantine life. We got it all, baby. We got it all.
Yeah,
How you been doing since this quarantine?
man. I've been doing pretty good, man. I tell you what, like the biggest thing for me is like, my kids. Those were the ones that I was real worried about because they're not used to having to be
Inside
um,
the house all day
inside
like
the
that?
house. You know what I mean? You got to think we was in the middle of club volleyball season,
You have
and
three
so
girls, right?
I have four girls.
Four girls. I always do that.
Yeah, I got four. They all count. So I got
Yes,
four of
sir.
them, and the oldest two play club volleyball, and so I was more concerned about them. Me personally, man, where I grew up, having to stay in the house and chill and not having a lot to do or figuring out ways to have fun, and without being able to do a lot of things. That's just part of the way I grew up. So this part of it ain't really bothering me at all. But it's just trying to figure out ways to make sure that they was good. But they've been doing good, man. I'm proud of them that they've been figuring out ways. I mean, kids are resilient. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
The kids will figure out a way to have fun with any kind of situation. So
Very, very
uh,
creative.
yeah. So my 8-year-old downstairs doing a puzzle right now, like one of them big, I guess like 500-piece puzzles or whatever right now. Her and her
It
mom
sounds
together.
like y'all doing a lot of the same things that we're doing, puzzles, and I try to keep the TV off, at least till 3, 4, 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
and doing homework and schoolwork and stuff like that, and they're doing their own little crafts and they building forts and all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so this is a little deal I've been trying to do since the quarantine. A lot of times, a lot of my clients, they want to know who some of my celebrity clients are, my football clients, and they want to know, how is he? Is he a nice? Is he nice? Is he cool? Is he an asshole or whatever? So I appreciate you coming on with me, and so I can share some of that experience with some of my friends. What's
Yeah.
up, T. Wiley? T. Wiley's in here, and Arian Foster's in here. I saw him, and but yeah, T. Wiley, he got the new job now, so I'm sure he's doing good with that. But we have a little bit in common, man. I know you're originally from Dallas,
Yeah. Straight
and
up 45.
wanted to talk to you about that. In Dallas, with your high school football. Did you play? What position did you play in high school?
So in high school, I was a tight end, man. I started off, I was like a skinny wide receiver, like in junior high. I didn't move to tight end until I was in 10th grade, and I played tight end all the way through high school, my first 2 years of college. So I used to be a
You
skilled
played
guy, a
tight
little
end in
guy.
college also?
Oh yeah, they gave me papers to play tight end. You didn't know that?
No, no,
Yeah,
that I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
So
was
you
on
played.
scholarship to play. I played tight end my first 2 years in college, man. I didn't move to offensive line until we got a new head coach, and we switched offenses from uh, we had like a normal two tight ends, one back, two receiver type offense to spread offense. That's when the spread offense first started coming to play. And so my coach was like, "Hey, we not going tight end might play 15 snaps a game. You know what I'm saying? But we need you to play." So he was like, "You either move to offensive line or defensive line." So I moved to O line, bro. Rest is history.
Yeah, and so you went to Memphis,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
you were there what, 4 years?
Yeah, yeah, I got my degree in 4 years. A lot of summer school, so I knocked it out in really 3.5 years. You know what I
What
mean?
was your major?
Finance, business finance.
Finance.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I got my degree, got drafted in the third round, and went to Miami and And it
So
was from
Miami
there.
drafted you first,
Yeah, they drafted him in the third round.
third round,
2003. Long, long, long time ago.
2003.
Yeah, 2003. Make you feel kind of
Okay.
old, huh, Nick? Make me feel old. I don't know about
Hey,
you.
hey, we everybody getting older every day,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. Um, so how many years did you play in the NFL?
So I played 12. 12. I started in 2003. Was with the Dolphins for 3 years. Then I was with the Jets, New York Jets for 2 years. Then I went to the Chiefs for 2 years. And I came down here to Houston with the Texans for 4 years. And then my last season I was with the Eagles. And so
Okay.
total of 12 years in the NFL, man.
Which one of those was your favorite stop?
Definitely Houston, bro, because Houston, for one, I was able to have my parents was able, family was able to come to every home game. Me being from Dallas, it's 3.5 hour drive down the road to come down here. So they were there for every home game. Had the most individual success and team success as a player with the Houston Texans. You know what I mean? Went to a Pro Bowl. We won a couple of division championships. Was part of one of the best offensive lines in the league at that time, and then also for sure the best offensive line in the history of the franchise. And so
Mhm.
block for Arian, block for
Yeah,
Dre, block for all
that
of the legends with the franchise. So for sure it was with Houston.
yeah, I remember that Pro Bowl year. What about two or three of y'all on that same line went to the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah, myself, Chris Myers, and Dwayne Brown all went to the Pro Bowl. Yeah,
Okay, you
yeah.
talked to Dwayne Brown. How is he doing?
He doing good, man. Sure, the IG Live is the thing now. So we was talking, chopping it up back and forth because RZA and DJ Premier had that battle. I guess that was
Okay,
Saturday night. Hey, I was so geeked getting ready for that, and they didn't disappoint, dog. Did you check it out?
I didn't see it.
Uh,
I
RZA,
know DJ Premier from
he
he
from
went to
A
Prairie
Town.
View with me.
Yeah,
He went to
he
Prairie
from
View
down
with me.
there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, his mom or dad, one of the two, taught at Prairie View, and I think that's his affiliation. He was there for a while, and so like every Friday, in front of the alumni, which is our cafeteria,
yeah,
and so he would, and everybody they had water fountains out there and everything, and he would set up speakers and turntables and everything every week, and 2 or 3 days a week. And man, he would just be jamming, man. He would just be jamming
yeah.
every day. And he was selling tapes and everything. I mean, he would make these tapes, and I mean, they were $5.
What year was this, Nick?
Let me see. I got to Prairie View in '87.
Yeah,
So this was like '87, '88,
yeah,
'89 at the most. Yeah, that was a wonderful time to, and then he went on. So he left Prairie View and went on to be with Gainstar and everything,
yeah.
and they had a really good career or whatever. But so you had your 12-year career. Um, did you, like, in college? You played tight end the whole time, and then you switched. Which one did you prefer?
Well, like I said, the first 2 years I was a tight end. The next 2 years I was an offensive lineman. It for sure was an offensive lineman, bro. So my first 2 years I played, I was the second tight end. So I started some games, but I played a lot. And so the person that was the starting tight end getting ready to graduate when I was going into my junior year. So we were 2 years apart. So once he was going to leave, I was going to become the man. So me being a tight end, I was excited about my upcoming season because I was going to be the man there. And then coach calls me in the office like, hey, we're going to change our offense. And so you're going to need to change positions. So I was ready to transfer, dog. I was ready to try to figure out, a way out. And
Oh,
back then you transfer, ain't no portals, nothing like that. You transfer, you got to sit a year. It's a lot of shenanigans or whatever. So, but I went back to my dorm room and talked to my roommate. My roommate was the starting center on the team. Jamon Pugh, my guy, he went to FAMU, transferred to Memphis, and he was our starting center. He was like, man, bro, if you play O line, you're gonna love it, dog. Like I'm telling you, you can do it. You'll be good at it. Just give it a shot. So my coach called me in the office just right before spring break. He said, "Go home, think about it, talk with your parents about it, whatever, but come back." He's like, "Make sure you come back."
Yeah.
And so I talked to my partner and I went home for spring break, talked to my parents, whatever. When I came back for spring football, man, after the first day of practice and the first day in the meeting room, I knew like, yeah, I made the right decision. Like it's just a different vibe. It's a different feeling to be a
It's a
part
lot
of the
more
O-line.
action, right?
Huh?
A lot more action.
I mean, I'm just looking from the perspective of being in the meeting rooms. In the meeting rooms, when you're a tight end, it might be like 3 to 5 people, like 5 people in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the coach and 3 or 4 tight ends. Well, when you in an O-line room, it's like 15 people in there. And the mentality of an offensive lineman, you got to think about it. Like an offensive lineman, you really don't get credit for much. You tend to be a selfless guy. You tend to be a guy that can be funny, can take a joke and give a joke. You know what I mean? So the vibe of the meeting room was just, it was on a different level. I was like, man, I belong in here. Like that was just after the first day. I already knew, like, yeah, that O-line thing. It's a different breed of person to be able to do that. Usually the guys are the smartest guys on the team, most humble guys on the team. A bunch of dogs on the team that just don't care. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a
I've
different type of
always
mentality.
I've always looked at the line as kind of like the engine, the engine of the car,
Yeah.
But so well, that's cool, man. So you into radio now, and I got to say this, man. I'm very proud of you. You're not just my client. You're a good friend of mine. I
Yeah.
consider, and and being able to watch you and see you grow into radio was pretty cool. I know you probably hadn't ever done it, but you made it look like a smooth transition, as if you may have studied communication or something. Um, and it's one of those things. When I listen to the radio, I'm always waiting to hear what Wade Smith it has to say, because the way you break it down, and you have that offensive line mentality and vernacular, and the way that you break it down, a lot of times it makes a lot of sense, and I agree with a lot of your viewpoints. Um, so how has that been going from offensive line to radio, to retire to radio?
Well, for one, I appreciate that. I tell you what, man, I try to attack it kind of the same way. You know what I mean? I went from being a tight end to be an offensive lineman. All right, you gotta figure out how things work, because it's a little bit different. The way you have to progress, or the way you have to figure out the next moves, and learning and picking up from people that are good at what you want to be good at. So taking pieces from them and learning from them, and then flipping it to make it your own. That's kind of what you do on the air. And at the heart of things is like, hey, when I'm on the air, I'm trying to communicate to the people some realistic stuff, some truthful stuff, and just how I really feel about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because a lot of times when you see media and hear media, it be like folks have agendas. Like I don't have an agenda. I don't care. I done been there. I done done it all. You know what I'm saying? So I've had success. I've had failures. So I don't have no agendas. A lot of times people have agendas and narratives that they try to push, and that's the last thing I want people to hear or feel from me. It's like, oh, now Wade is gonna tell you what he really feels about a situation. He's gonna try to break it down so I can educate and entertain you at the same time. And so that's kind of, how I kind of approach it. And so, whether it's talking about the Texans or talking about, just sports in general, talking about the Rockets, talking about the Mavericks, whatever you want to, whatever it is, I'm gonna tell you from my opinion of somebody that grew up as a big time sports fan, or somebody that grew up listening to sports talk radio as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like listening to people call games, like listening to Lake Highlands High School football games on the radio when I was like in the 6th grade at my pop's house. You know what I'm saying? Because they was in the playoffs, so I like listened to the radio. So being able to hear somebody call a game and they take you there. So you have to have that same mentality. Like if I'm telling you about something that went on, I want to try to take you there so that you can feel like you're experiencing yourself. And so that's just how I approach it, man. I've been doing stuff for Sports Radio 16 for for a couple of years, for a few years now, just as somebody that was coming in, might do a
Yeah, I
segment
remember you
here
just
or
kind of
do an
went in to
hour
fill
here.
in
Yeah,
sometimes, and then
but
y'all turned into them giving you a whole show and everything.
yeah,
So that has to be exciting. You with Big Travis.
yeah, Smitty and Trap show. It's kind of been put on a hiatus a little bit right now just because of the coronavirus and
Hmm.
figuring out the technical aspect behind it to try to do shows from multiple locations and having to pull back because of just the economic situation in general. But I'm on there on different people's shows and working to the point where we'll get back to doing Speed and Trap show in the very near future. But we do that on Wednesday night. You got to think about it. You got me. I'm the level-headed one. And then you got Trap that is going
Yeah.
to say any and everything. So it's a good mix. Both of us born on the same day, never with
Oh,
teams,
really?
born on the same. Yeah, we gon' So I even talked to him about this yet, but we gonna do this like on our birthdays, April 26th. We gonna do a show on our birthday, some kind of way, because
Hmm.
also that's the April 26th. That's the same day that it's I think episodes 3 and 4 of the Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls series going on.
So
So
y'all have a lot to talk about. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
can't wait to see that come out.
Yeah, so we'll be able to talk about episode 1 and 2, and then lead into 3 and 4. And that's you talking about a good ass birthday gift, bro. Like, okay, I get to watch this on a birthday. Like, you
Yeah.
got to figure out, you got to find the silver linings in the situation, man. You got, everybody's stuck in the house, and unless you're an essential worker, and I'm not an essential worker. I shout out to all the essential workers out there. I'm non-essential, so
Hmm.
I'm staying at the crib. But you got to find the silver linings. And it's okay, they pushed up the production of the Michael Jordan documentary. So I'm like, I was very appreciative of ESPN of doing that in 30 for 30, whatever, because that's
Yeah.
gonna be big. That's gonna be major.
So with that being said, you know how you've adopted to radio and kind of keeping it real and everything. What do you think of the state of the Texans right now?
Man, right now, the way I look at it is this. If you're not one of Bill O'Brien's guys, you can get got. Now, that's really how it is anywhere and everywhere. But people are really starting to see, like, yeah, if you're not one of his guys, you can be gone real quick. Like, if you ain't one of his guys and you don't completely buy into the way he specifically wants things done, they're gonna find a way to get you up out of there. And the problem is that he's getting people out of here and he's not getting the return on investment that he should. Like Jadeveon Clowney, those two guys wasn't really on the same page, so he just sent them up out of here. And he would rather send them out of here as opposed and not get value for it, as opposed to keeping them here and trying to figure out a way to make it work. I think Bill O'Brien just kind of like, hey, if it ain't working, I'm gonna send you on, and we're gonna figure out a way without you because we don't need you. We can do it on our own. And so that's what you see with the Texans. You see them trade Jadeveon Clowney, you see them trade DeAndre Hopkins, like, and you get what you get back. It's not matching up.
Do
So
you
a lot
do
of
you
people are
think they can
frustrated right
win
now.
like that?
You think what?
Do you think they can win like that coming up this season?
They're gonna be good regardless. They got Deshaun Watson, a quarterback. It's a quarterback league, so they're
You
gonna
don't
be
think
good regardless.
it seems like he may be trying to put too much pressure on Deshaun Watson to me. Um, but although I did like that he was able to get Cook, and then he has Steele, and then he still has his other receiver, and so it's gonna be like I don't know, it's like three number twos or something.
Yeah, they got a bunch of guys that legitimately are number two receivers, and then you got Cobb. You
Yeah,
got
then you got
You
Cobb
got
also.
Stills, Cooks, and Fuller that all are legitimate number twos right now.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
kind of
Fuller could potentially be a one, but he can't stay healthy. And then you got Cobb that is a slot receiver, and he's good at a slot. So they got a bunch of weapons out there, but it's like, all right, they brought in David Johnson, right? Running back, right? At one point, he
mhm,
was a damn good football player, Pro Bowl type
at one
caliber
point.
player,
Yeah.
all pro. He was the truth, right? But that was 3 years ago. You ain't seen that kind of production out of him in a really long time. And so the problem is if you look at it from the perspective of like a GM, all right, if you're gonna bring in a person like David Johnson, when the team that he was on was getting ready to trade him, I mean cut him anyway, why take on this whole his whole contract. You know what I mean? Like what they did with the Brandon Cooks deal was a lot better than what they did with the David Johnson deal, because with Brandon Cooks, the Texans had, I mean, the Rams already paid $4 million out of the $12 million on his contract. So that means the first year Texans are getting him for $8 million. If they would have did something similar with David Johnson, it would have been a better move. But they didn't. And so you got a running back that hasn't really produced over the past few years, and you paying him over $10 million a year. Like it doesn't add up when you say you don't want to pay DeAndre Hopkins and that's why you traded him. You know what I'm saying? Like the picture has to make sense all the way around for people to not be. I mean, people's gonna be pissed off anyway because you don't want to trade. You don't want DeAndre Hopkins to be traded because he's a fan favorite. He's arguably the best receiver in the league. You don't want him to go. But I think Bill O'Brien just has the mindset like, hey man, I have a vision for what I want to get done. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it, and people aren't gonna like it, but I don't care. And so now you just kind of decide yourself, like as you watching the team, like do you believe it's gonna work out? I mean, they're gonna be a 9-10 win football team every year that Deshaun Watson is a healthy quarterback. That just is what it is because there's only, I don't know, 10 to 15 really good quarterbacks in the league. So you're going to, at worst, be that kind of caliber team. Now, are they going to be good enough to win a Super Bowl? They don't have the roster right now to do that yet.
Okay. Well, you know, you talking about all the players and everything in the league with Deshaun and everything. So, you know, we're in the same fantasy league.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
now don't just say
you
we're
had
in
to
the same
remind
league.
me.
Don't just say we're in the same league. Say, you need to crown me right here on Facebook.
Are you right?
On IG Live. Go ahead and
You,
crown me.
I tell you what,
I'm
man.
the champion of your fantasy football league.
You are the reigning
There you
champion.
go.
What is it? Triple D to the Mo won the championship this
Triple
year.
D to the Mo already.
I had to give you all the money.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So congratulations. Welcome to the club.
That was good ROI on that thing right there. Good return on investment right there.
Good return on your investment. You're right, but I'll be back. I'm 6-time champ. I'll be back. You know,
you've been a 6-time champ since I got in the league like 5 years ago, Nick.
I went to the Super Bowl
since we got into the league.
I went to one Super Bowl while you were there, and I lost. I was in 2 Super Bowls in 2 different leagues, and I lost both games because I didn't start the Cowboys defense going against the third string quarterback for Philadelphia, and I would have won 2 championships. That would have been 8-time champion. Y'all wasn't gonna like that, you know. And you know, so one of the things that I miss, with having you in the chair and talking to you, on a weekly basis, we talk about TV shows and movies and stuff, man. So what you watching right now?
Hey man, that's okay. Quarantine life, bro. They done came out with a lot of good stuff to watch on the tube, man. So last night, the wife and I was watching Hulu, and we was watching Little Fires Everywhere. You heard about that?
No.
It's got Reese Witherspoon on there, and what's Olivia Pope's real name? I can't think of her real name. What's her real name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of her real name right now, but Olivia Pope is on there, bro.
Okay.
Check that out on Hulu if you got Hulu. That's a good show. Of course, Tiger King been out. That's some damn fools right there.
I watched the Tiger King just to be watching it. It bored me for a while, and then I just couldn't believe how this guy's personality, and then the lady that, maybe killed her husband, that man is gone.
Ain't no maybe to that. Ain't no maybe to that, dog. She fed him to the Tigers, bro. He just gonna disappear like that. Kerry Washington, that's her name. Appreciate you, Alicia.
Yeah, Kerry Washington.
Yeah, Kerry Washington. I don't know why I couldn't think of her name, but Olivia Pope. That's how you know you made it, when people just remember you by your character name and not your real name. But yeah, she on there.
Kerry Washington. Somebody, okay, Alicia helped us out with that one.
Yeah.
And so I know since I know a lot of this stuff, but I'm just trying to let my friends and family know that so I know after retirement you started your reading program. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so actually, I started a reading program while I was still playing for the Texans. So that started in 2012. Reading with the Pros, where I go to different elementary schools all over Houston and Dallas, where I'm from, and talk to kids about the importance of reading and literacy. I've written a couple of children's books, and so I'll go read my books to the kids at schools. That's one of the things about this quarantine deal that's been unfortunate, and it bothers me that I haven't been able to go interact with kids. You know what I'm saying? Going to various elementary schools. We had a reading competition going on before coronavirus got here, and so we had to put that on hold, and we're gonna have to continue that going next year. But it's a reading contest where the winning school wins Kindle devices for each one of their classrooms. They win T-shirts. They win 6 books to take home for their own personal libraries. The different partnerships that I have with Books Between Kids and Half Price Bookstore, and we'll donate uh, libraries to each one of these schools that participate in the competition. And so, been had a lot of things on the docket that had to be put on pause. But we've been doing that reading program for years now. We've gone to it's going on 8 years now, because 2012 was the first time we did it. And it sounds crazy. It went by quick, 8 years, but we've gone to about 80 elementary schools. We've reached out to 60,000 kids. And I really love and enjoy it because I try to get to on an eye-to-eye level with these kids and let
Mm-hmm.
them know that it's cool to read books and how it opens your mind to so many different opportunities. And if you're struggling with reading, it's okay to be that way, but it's not okay to stay that way. Um, you're literally fighting with both hands tied behind your back if you struggle with reading, trying to make it in life, period. And so just encouraging kids to read things that they enjoy. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to read things that the teacher is telling you to read. There's books about literally everything. So if whatever you like, if you like comic books, or you like superheroes, if you like cars, if you like shoes, if you like video games, sports, whatever it may be, there's books about all of those things. And by reading those books, it'll give you practice for when you have to actually do things in school that you're required to do. You know what I mean? So reading books at home about things that you enjoy, it's not gonna feel like a chore. It's not gonna feel like, oh, I gotta read if you're reading about your favorite superhero or your favorite sports star or something like that. And so that's what um, I try to communicate to the kids. And just being out and about. I coach youth football. I might be at a at a pep rally, and a couple kids will run up to me, Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, or Mr. Wade. You came to my school 3 years ago. You came to my school a couple years ago. Was talking to us about reading. Like that's a really good feeling to know that the
Yeah, it
kids
has to be.
remember, and it sticks with them, and they take it with them going forward. You know what I mean? And then we have a scholarship program too, where I've had kids that's um, gone all the way through high school. I mean, gone all the way through college, or out of school now, or engineers. Like, it's a cool feeling. I've been doing it long enough now to kind of see um, the back end and how it's been able to positively affect the community. And I wouldn't be able to do it without a lot of people that's helped me. A lot of people like you and various people that will volunteer or donate funds or spread the word, or people come read to the kids at the school with me, or just without, you know, it's basically like I'm just the I don't want to say the conduit, but I'm kind of the catalyst to making it happen. But it's a lot of people that allow this Wade Smith Foundation to affect the community in a positive way. And so I've been happy to do it, man. I'm looking forward to getting back into the schools again. I'm guessing it's going to be in this fall. So we get rid of this virus quicker than later, so sooner than later, so we can get back to operating like we used to.
So I'm sure that's what what led you to become an author. You got 2 books now, right? Are you working on a third yet, or what?
So yeah, I have 2 books. I'm working on the third. The 2 books is Smitty Hits the Playbooks and Smitty Tackles Bullying. And so I actually wanted to write those books before I did Reading with the Pros. Like that's been something I wanted to do, was to write children's books, because as a kid I loved reading books myself. Like it's part of the thing of me deciding to do literacy, and child literacy is my passion, and what my foundation is about is, hey, as a kid, we didn't really have a lot of money, wasn't a lot of, wasn't traveling all these places. So, but I could open a book, I could become an astronaut, I become a superhero, my favorite sports bar, I can go
That's
sports
good.
fan, I can be whatever I wanted to be. And so I always wanted to write my own books. I used to write short stories as a kid. And so now I was able to get to a point where I could write my own book and get it published and all that type stuff. And the kids enjoy it, man. And that's the biggest thing. Like
The biggest thing, yeah. That's
if
real
you do
big.
something, the kids
And
buy
you
into it and
never,
they enjoy it. That's all what it's all is about.
yeah, you never know how much you impacting these kids' lives. And I'm glad the kid was able to come, had a chance to see you and come up to you and thank you again for that. So I know that has to be, a real big, uh, a lot of gratification for you
It,
to do that.
it happens all the time, bro. Whether it's teachers, it's principals. Like it's cool because I might go to one school here in the third ward, and that school had a teacher there that became a principal at another school in A-Leaf or something like that. And she, hey, I need you to come to my school. And I might see them just random, out and about. I might be at a Texans game. I might be coming out the barbershop. I might be whatever. And somebody see me,
Hmm.
hey, and they're like, hey, I need you to come to my school. Or I remember when you came to my school, y'all did such a great job. I appreciate what y'all doing around the city. And so, yeah, man, it makes everything worth it because it's a lot that goes into it. But that's the payoff right there.
Yeah, my kids at my after school program that I work at Harriet Elementary, um, they really appreciated you coming over and reading the book and spending some time with them and asking you, NFL questions or whatever stuff like that. Um, well, hey, Wade, man, I sure appreciate you. I don't want to take up too much of your day. I appreciate you coming on here with me and just chopping it up, my little shop talk thing, going live.
Already.
You're my second guest. I had Kansas coach, Jarens Howard. He's at University of Kansas basketball, and he came on with me last week. And so we got Tim Bro coming tomorrow. He was with the Rockets when they won those back-to-back championships
Yeah.
from back in the day, and so he's one of my old clients, and I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow
Bro,
at 7.
I've been coming up there for 10 years, man. It's crazy, huh?
Say that again.
I said, I've been coming to the shop for 10 years, bro.
It's been 10 years.
10 years, dog. I
That
got
was
here
one of my
initially
questions I
2010.
had because when I was, because I don't know if a lot of people don't know, but I worked for the Houston Texans for 16 years
Yeah.
in the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
and you came. I know you were there for at least a year or two. How did I start cutting your hair?
Bro, I don't even remember. I think I came down there and there was a barber that came into the locker room, and I'm like, hell, let me try this
No
out.
brainer,
I
huh?
got a good cut, then I was good. And that's the thing about barbers, bro. Once you get a barber, you don't really just be hopping from place to
No, a
place. Like
lot of people don't do that. Yeah,
it's a weird
you gotta
good
stay
feeling.
loyal to your barber.
Yeah.
And your barber, I see you've been shaving it now.
Yeah, dog.
How you doing with
Yeah,
that?
hey, he go. So if y'all know this, like about a few months ago, Nick had to have surgery, or whatever, on his back, and so he was out for 3 weeks. He gonna send me a couple of phone numbers of barbers that can, take his place for the time being while he was out of commission. And I'm looking at these numbers like, bro, I don't want. They feel awkward. Like, hell no, I'm not trying to. Nothing against no other barbers, but it's just weird. Like, it's just it's a different thing.
I hear
We
you.
was
I
talking about that on
understand.
the radio the other day too. A lot of people was agreeing to it because I was like, is that like a black people thing? Because I was asking people like, is that a black people thing? Because I don't know, the white folks feel the same way about their barbers. A lot
Yeah.
of Hispanic dudes that was getting was talking to his texting and stuff was like, yeah, we feel the same way. And it was a couple white dudes who was the same way too. But for sure, like in our community, we don't mess around with barbers like that. But yeah, instead of going to a different barber, I was like, yeah, I'm finna
I just do it
just
myself.
finish this off, bro.
Yeah, that's the look of loyalty right there. That's loyalty right there. And
Wifey like the
hey,
bald
we
head, so
appreciate it.
we rocking that thing. You know what I mean?
All right, man. Well, hey, you have a good evening, man. Y'all stay safe.
All right,
And
bro.
Keep doing well, man. Congratulations with your radio career. And tell everybody I say hello. Tell Miss Rita I say hello.
Will do. You do
And
the same.
y'all
Hopefully
take
you and the
care, man.
girls
I
doing all
appreciate
right,
you.
man.
All right, thanks.
All right, bro.